The views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal, and do not reflect the views of any organization.
Hello and welcome friends once again to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. This week I wish to highlight a video of Congress leader Rahul Gandhi at a nightclub partying that's gone viral and sparked off a political controversy. It also raises a vexed question that I seek to answer. Can a high-profile politician have a private life or not? First, let me give you the backstory of this video that you need to know. On Tuesday morning, a 12-second video is put out on Twitter by the BJP's hyperactive social media chief Amit Malviya. It shows Rahul Gandhi partying with a woman at a nightclub. No context of how it was shot, who is in the video, or where it was shot, but the 12-second clip instantly goes viral because Malviya's lieutenants are swarming on the media, the BJP's IT cell army. The lieutenants then go even further. They put out a wholly unsubstantiated rumor that the woman in the video with Rahul Gandhi is actually a Chinese diplomat, possibly China's ambassador to Nepal. And Rahul Gandhi is guilty of compromising the national interest. The overground BJP also quickly gets involved. Its spokespersons then question Rahul Gandhi's priorities as a national leader. It's also gold dust for News TV, a large section of which is constantly looking for some sensational headline or the other. Rahul Gandhi in a nightclub in the company of a foreign-looking, Chinese-looking woman is enough to spark off a studio slugfest on the Congress leader's lifestyle. By the time caught off guard, the Congress's media team tries to explain that Rahul Gandhi was actually at a private wedding of a friend in Kathmandu. It is simply too late, because the BJP has already run with the story and fed into the perception of Rahul Gandhi partying in Kathmandu while his party struggles at home. Now, by the time an India Today fact check does a journalistic exercise and confirms that the woman is actually a local Nepali friend from the wedding group where Rahul Gandhi has gone and not a Chinese diplomat, it's too late. Real-time rumor has already spread through the BJP's very effective social media echo chambers that the woman is the Chinese diplomat. Malviya and company have typically done a mix of rumor, innuendo, succeeded in their immediate task of pushing the Congress on the defensive once again and creating another distraction from other far more important issues. Which brings me to the central question. Is the private life of a politician a matter of public interest or not? Now, a day after the video went viral, a Congress leader rang me up to complain that while Rahul Gandhi was being hounded, how come no questions had been raised when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was living with Mrs. Kaul, a married woman, and her husband, who he reportedly was in a relationship with Mrs. Kaul? My response was to point out first that it isn't as if no questions were raised at the time. In fact, Sagrika Ghosh, in her new biography of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, has a wonderful anecdote of how once during a heated press conference on Kashmir and Pakistan, a journalist got up and said, "Sir, enough of all this. Please tell us what is your relationship with Mrs. Kaul." Mr. Vajpayee, never short of humor and with his tongue firmly in the cheek, smiled and answered, "Kuch Kashmir jaisa mamla hai." Remember also that Vajpayee ji was a politician in the pre-social media, pre-smartphone age, a period where a politician wasn't constantly under the gaze of a 24/7 camera. Then the politician could actually retreat into his or her personal space without a worry. Now the truth is, there is literally no place to hide, particularly if your surname is a Gandhi Nehru. There is an enormous curiosity, like them or not, over the Gandhi Nehrus, almost like there is with the British tabloid media when it comes to the royal family. and a large section of our mainstream media has become tabloidized. It was also an age when Vajpayee ji was there, when politicians and politics wasn't as cutthroat as it is today. You had political rivals for sure, but they respected each other's private space. Now the rules and norms have disappeared completely. Remember, Amit Malviya and his social media team warriors have been key drivers of the toxic pappufication campaign of Rahul Gandhi on social media for almost a decade now. The video in that sense is part of this concerted exercise to show that Rahul Gandhi is unfit to lead the country. But how does Rahul Gandhi being spotted at a nightclub make him unfit to be a national leader? In an ideal world, it shouldn't make any difference. What a leader does in his or her private space is their problem. Unless, like in the case of Boris Johnson in the United Kingdom, the lines between your private party behavior are seen to impinge on your public duties and your public pronouncements. Johnson, of course, is the Prime Minister of Britain and has been caught lying on Partygate, as it is being called, in COVID times. Rahul Gandhi is not the Prime Minister of India. He is on a personal visit to Kathmandu. How should who he is seen with make any difference to his role as a Congress leader and MP? Theoretically, it perhaps should not. But practically, it does, primarily because the optics now feed into the narrative that Rahul Gandhi is a non-serious politician who is always missing in action, happier partying abroad than slogging hard in India. Remember how Rahul Gandhi's 57-day sabbatical in 2015 slap bang in the middle of a budget session of Parliament was used by the BJP to claim that Rahul Gandhi had left for a secret holiday then. Even the Congress members at the time didn't know where Mr. Gandhi had suddenly disappeared. In fact, we still don't know much about this mysterious sabbatical of Mr. Gandhi. Remember also how just ahead of the Punjab election campaign this year, a rally was to take place on the 3rd of January gets cancelled. Why? Because apparently Rahul Gandhi is vacationing and is out of the country over the New Year period. In December 2020 again, Rahul Gandhi was missing in action just when the farm protests were beginning to peak. Just a day before the party's foundation day on December 28th, he had reportedly left for Milan at the time. Even this time, Rahul Gandhi's absence was noticed because it comes at a time when election strategist Prashant Kishore was giving these big presentations to the Congress party on the future course of action for the Congress. Now, Home Minister Amit Shah told Parliament while discussing the Special Protection Group bill in the Lok Sabha that Rahul Gandhi between 2015 and 2019 travelled abroad 247 times, an average of 62 trips a year, which amounts to 5 a month. Now again, travelling abroad is not a crime. But when you become a frequent flyer at a time when your party is facing an existential crisis, then questions will be raised by your political rivals. When your trips are shrouded in secrecy, questions will be raised. When you seemingly are seen to make a habit of being at the wrong place at the wrong time, questions will be raised. Recall, for example, now how Rahul Gandhi was spotted at a party during a Sangeet ceremony of a friend just a few days after the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack. It was again his free choice as an individual to be with friends. But again, when you're in public life, it makes for terrible optics. Frankly, my friends, none of this should matter if Rahul Gandhi was a proven winner in electoral politics. Someone who was leading the Congress from the front from one victory to another. No one cares, for example, interestingly, what another dynast, Naveen Patnaik, does in his private space because he has been a successful Chief Minister of Odisha for more than 20 years. But when your party is hurtling from one defeat to another, when your troops are completely demoralized, then as the face who is still seen as the party's future leader, the rules are very different. Then you have to be seen shoulder to shoulder with your party soldiers in the battlefield day and night. then even the slightest sign of any human frailty will be exploited, my friends, by your opponents. That's why, much as he would like it to be otherwise, Rahul Gandhi's private space is not so private after all. When in public life, in this age of 24/7 cameras, you just can't let your guard down, I am afraid. One last interesting thing. How is it that a video from a private wedding event lands up at, of all places, Amit Malviya's office? Who was that person at the nightclub who not only shot the video but made sure it reached the BJP IT cell chief's desk? Was it a friend or an acquaintance at the nightclub? Was it just a casual guest who happened to be there? Or was it, as some suspect, someone from within the security ring, the VVIP security ring of Rahul Gandhi who leaked the video? Maybe Mr. Malviya can answer that question too. Think about it. That was the Straight Bat. Do, of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind, Namaskar.